Welcome back to another podcast, guys. Obviously, you have me, Varro, and we have Carter, but we also have a new special guest. You guys probably know him from the Amazon space, one of the GOATs, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate you fellas having me on. Everything is also good to link up in person. We met at one ASD, right?
We never met in
We
person.
never met in person. Oh, really? I swear we met at one. Dude.
We DM'd each other for like that.
Okay, got you. And then we met in person once too, a couple years ago. It's actually in the same building the week that I moved down.
A few floors down.
A few floors. Yeah, exactly. Like we literally met right there. But yeah, so I'm Flips4Miles. So I got started selling shoes, very similar to Carter. Back in the day during high school, we ended up meeting during the Westbricks days, which is a legendary sneaker group, I must say, at least from my perspective. And I just really got into online business because I always liked selling stuff, trading stuff. I was making YouTube videos in 2010, trading Legos with people online in 2010 and 2011. And then eventually, from doing the Legos online and trading with people, one of my friends was wearing these like crazy shoes, and I was playing basketball in high school. I was like, dude, how is he able to afford those? Like, I definitely can't afford this. And he was like, oh, I've been flipping shoes to be able to afford my pairs, basically. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's like what I'm doing with Legos, but on a little bit larger of a scale. And then he immediately scams me for $500 on 2 deals. Completely my fault for not legit checking the product. So completely my fault. That was the best money I ever spent. He took that money from me, but he also put me in all the sneaker Facebook groups and everything, like stuff like TSN Marketplace. And I wonder if those are still going, but those were where I got my start. And then I did that pretty heavily from like 2017 to like 2019, 2018, right? Had like a 5K profit month. And I was like, that was my sophomore year of college after a couple of my friends had transferred that I really liked hanging out with, but they ended up transferring and I had like a lot of free time. And I had a car, so now I could drive to the outlets on the weekends by myself. And that was right when I started to get more serious about shoes. And it was when social media algorithms started getting really good. So you start to get hit by ads about like how to make money online. You start to get, it was like really when like organic content discovery started to really become a thing. Like it started to stopped going from like who you subscribe to on YouTube to what videos you're interested in.
Yeah.
It stopped going from like who you follow on Instagram to what content you're interested in, right? So I was interested in making money. So I started getting hit by like all these ads and content from guys we literally hung out with this week, which is pretty cool. At my Sellers Conference talking about that you could sell on Amazon. And I'm like, holy crap, like Amazon's not just selling the products themselves. I was like, damn. And these guys are able to sell all different types of stuff. I distinctly remember seeing a dude talking about doing retail arbitrage for like a dish soap. And I was like, damn, like that's crazy that these guys are selling on Amazon. Amazon's way bigger than StockX. It's way bigger than GOAT. There's probably more opportunity there. And it's like adults doing it too. It wasn't just like teenagers and, early 20s like we were doing, right? Back in the day. Yeah, literally just retail arbitrage, side hustle, don't have to have a job, right? And I was like, damn, like these older guys are doing it and they're selling all different types of stuff. And it's on Amazon. Everyone knows Amazon. I buy stuff from Amazon all the time. So does everyone else I know. There's probably a lot of opportunity there. And so immediately I broadened from just the sneaker community to following like the eBay community and the Amazon community and the Poshmark reselling community. And you start to get exposed to like there's people doing this full time that aren't just like sneaker shop owners covered in tattoos driving Lamborghinis. Like there's people that come from small towns and people that have prior careers that are doing this as a legit way to make money that hasn't consumed their life. They don't need to go to sneaker conventions all the time. They don't need to drive around all the time, although we ended up doing a lot of that early. And so I dove heavily into that. And that was also when I learned about Amazon, was when I learned about Gary Vee and his books. And he would always talk about how like you have to be doing a personal brand, or you should really consider it, how the internet's such a powerful tool and how it can broaden your horizons. You can meet a lot of cool people. So I remember I was in Italy on a trip and I was like, I've really been lacking on making my page. What should I name it? That's the big excuse everyone gives it. Now you got the easy one. You just got the name on there. Right. I thought about doing the name, right? But I settled on Flips4Miles as my name. And then I've been running that page for over 6 years at this point. And that, basically I started out mainly talking about shoe reselling, but following the Amazon community, interacting with the Amazon community. And then that summer of 2019, I had to do an internship for college for my major. But once I started making like 3 to 5K a month profit online, I was like, all right, I'm going to be able to do this full time. I want to graduate college early and knock out my internship this summer. And I chose the most boring option by a mile. I lived in my college town with this other guy that really wasn't there super often. So I just had all this free time. That was when I started the Amazon business. The big problem was you couldn't ungate anything back in the day, or at least we didn't know how to, right?
It was hidden.
Yeah. Honestly, think the methods we use today would have worked. We just didn't know about them, right? Yeah, I think they would have. I think they totally would have. And so got going with that completely for whatever reason. I think just being a natural long-term thinker, which looking back was a good thing and is a good thing. I stopped doing shoes as much and started doing Amazon really heavily and making like no money. But I was building a little bit of a name in the Amazon community and starting to get noticed by like Avery, the guy who runs Miami Star Wars comps. And the nice thing is that because so few people post on social media, if you do it, especially if you're a complete beginner, people flock to help you if you're engaging and you're commenting on different stuff. So like people just started helping me for free like crazy. And it was awesome. And then so I doing like the textbook thing in college, and then COVID hits, right? Can't get any more inventory, pivot back to shoe reselling, become like a personal finance account too, because I got really interested in investing and everything too. Like I made like an extra like 30K profit like that 2020 year just investing in like basic stuff too, honestly, which was awesome. And then the key here is I'm doing shoe reselling and basically like a personal finance account, but I'm still following the Amazon community. I'm still in a couple group chat, or probably one group chat, still talking to some people here and there, and people are going crazy on pools and toys and stuff. And I'm like, all right, like I was doing this, you know, a year ago, and I couldn't ungate the name brand stuff, but these people are doing it, and they started after I did. How are they doing it? So I started talking to a couple people, and I'm selling shoes at the time, right? And so I have a lot of inventory, and I'm like, crap, okay. And by the way, during this, I also play around with drop shipping, and I also play around having an agency. The agency was actually my biggest revenue stream at the time. I was running Facebook ads for medical spas. I'm just messing around, man. But in the mix, I'm doing stuff. I'm doing, I mean, kind of that, but for local businesses, literally. Like I'm just in the mix. I'm doing stuff, right? And learning, figuring stuff out, building relationships, start up a podcast a little bit, do like 6 episodes. A couple like millionaires come on, which was sick of them to do it at the time. And I graduate college that semester early. So that's fall 2020. That's the fall 2020 semester. And I'm like, all right, like I got all my time back. My parents are trusting me to go make money online stuff work. It's go time. And so I probably combined making like 5K a month profit at the time. So enough, but like, you know, you want to be above that, right?
Yeah.
Definitely want to be above. And I certainly did, based on these people I was seeing online were doing, especially on the Amazon people. And so I basically, the ungating information starts to come out there because I'm in the mix. I'm in the group chats. It's not public yet, but it's public in your sphere, right? And so I get one of the major ungates done, list some of my old shoe inventory, and it's like, bang. Couple hours later, bang. Couple hours later, bang. Stuff's moving, man. Stuff's moving. And high price. For high price. Oh my God, for high price. Like Air Force Ones and everything. And I'm pretty sure it's like something crazy. Like the first day I got Amazon sales, I think I ditched the whole agency thing immediately. Because Amazon was so much more fun. Like so much more fun, basically. And then, yeah, I mean, the only thing I do as a human being consistently or many things, but like, the main thing that's consistent throughout my whole journey of selling Legos and trading Legos with people, I really enjoyed growing my high school basketball team's Twitter account, like tagging like the big media outlets in Philadelphia and everything, growing the account and everything. And then with shoes, I as a human being, I talk about what I'm doing online to find people with the same niche interests. I understand, or at least have taken the advice of other people to understand that I'm probably not going to find those people in real life. Definitely not in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, right? Probably not, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So I have to take to the internet to find those people, right? And so I did that, and that helped me, you know, get into the mix with everything. And so I started talking about doing online arbitrage, and I'm watching a Gary Vee video. I'm posting a lot that first month. I'm, you know, make a couple sales here and there. And I'm watching a Gary Vee video, and he's like, you have to respond to every comment. You're a bleep if you're not responding to every comment. I'm like, all right, Gary, I'm not just going to reply to every comment. I'm also going to DM them and introduce myself to them. And Garrett, all out Amazon, just happens to be one of the people from that day that had commented on one of my things. So we get talking, and we get on the call that night. I'm pretty sure it was that night with him and his brother. And then Danny, Wi-Fi astronaut, the guy who runs Boxum or listing software, I'm like, hey, can this dude from my high school come? He used to do Amazon too, the same way I used to do Amazon. And they're like, sure. And he just puts us on like the craziest game of all time, dude. Like this automated sourcing back in the day, because stuff was selling for so high that you could do automated sourcing. And so we just lock in with that. And Jake Carter, who's another big wholesale seller, he's doing he's very, very big, significant numbers these days, I'm pretty sure. he gets added and we just have a group chat. And like that week, like Garrett FaceTimes me in the morning, wakes me up, we buy a product and we just get going. I do like 6K rev my first month and then like 30K rev my second month, all FBM. That's like 6K profit. I'm like, yeah, I finally got it. It's been multiple years. I finally got one business I love working on. I'm doing it with the homies, everything. So I got one business we're working on right there, and just keep rolling with that and do like 30 to 50K a month the first like 4 or 5 months, basically. And then I'm doing all FBM pretty much, very occasional FBA shipment. And I go to the first ever Miami Sellers Conference and come to Florida for 2 weeks. My sales go basically to zero because I'm doing all FBM, right? And I see these guys walking around and I'm like, that guy's doing 100K a month rev. That guy's doing 200K a month rev. That's the guy who was teaching me back in the day. Like, they can do it. I can do it. And I get home from back to school, I swear to God, and I do 100K the next 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks, going crazy, driving all around Pennsylvania, digging in on retail arbitrage. I do 100K that 2 weeks, all FBM, and then eventually start doing FBA. And then Q4 rolls around. I got both horses running for me, FBA and FBM. FBA, sell stuff high, sell stuff fast. FBM, turn the money around a little bit quicker on a per unit basis. And I can do stuff like bundle listings, list on multiple listings at the same time, restock stuff super fast. And I do like 30K profit November, 50K profit December, and end up making like almost 200 grand profit that year. Just first year really of doing online arbitrage, right? And like that's basically just been like the mix ever since. And why I think I had it so much easier than a lot of people is just because I never did shit by myself. I always had people that were working on it with me. I think that's the main thing people are missing. But that was like kind of like a, big walkthrough of those initial early days, and everything. But the really big thing that's always been consistent is just being a member of whatever community I'm in, and then working to become an authority on it as you figure things out. It's the same way with Lego stuff back in the day, same thing with shoes, and then now with Amazon the past couple of years. Basically.
You mentioned obviously like generational run, in my opinion, just because like with everything you've done. But a lot of people are like doing killer numbers and just not posting content. And really want to dive more deep into that because in my opinion, you're one of the strongest personal brands in the space. It's really hard to come close to it. So you said you read a book of Gary Vee saying to post content. But like, I'm pretty sure you didn't just blow up right away. Like, I'm pretty sure you didn't get 1,000 followers your first month, or something like that. So like, what made you keep going? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm pretty sure some days you want to post content, but you're like, dude, I'm getting like 100 views, 200 views. Like, I'm gonna just stop. I'm making money with this. I'm not making money with this.
Yeah. So one, I had nothing else going for me. So I had nothing to do but that. And I really trusted the guys who were ahead of me on that stuff because it was big. Because it was like Gary Vee where he's like big, broad, but it was also like Reezy and Avery and everyone. The big Amazon guys were also saying that's like the space that I'm hanging out in, basically. But the really, really important thing is I never created content until it was a consistent part of my life. All I did was document. Taking a picture, writing up a caption takes 10 seconds, man. You know what I mean? So like I never saw it as like a strain, and that's partially lucky because I naturally did it in 2010, making videos of what I was doing Lego wise. But like people think it takes so much more time than I think it does. I personally would argue that it takes more time to not do it. Because you guarantee you have a harder time. You guarantee you have to figure everything out on your own. You guarantee you have to learn all the mistakes on your own, right? I personally would argue that it actually takes a lot more time to not do things the way, you've done it, being in the mix. You knew me, you were willing to pay me and everything back in the day, right? Same with you, we built trust. I remember you were saying, you posted a story that was like, I don't feel like posting or something like that. And I was like, trust me, do it. You're going to want to go back to these numbers. And I think you've taken it a lot more seriously. Not directly as a result of that, but so at some point you start taking it a lot more seriously. And this is, we're now here on a podcast. Like it's, good things are happening as a result of it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. It's just kind of crazy when you really think about it because I feel like obviously me and Carter probably feel it the most. Like we should have been documenting more, especially from the jump. You probably, you probably did too, but in my opinion, like obviously big differences in like the personal brand type of space, but a lot of people don't want to show like the 0 to 1K, but I tell everybody like, dude, like people show more support in 0 to 1K than like the 1 to 100. Obviously, especially in the Amazon space, mostly everybody's, you would say like, if you're doing 100K rev, cool. But like if someone's barely starting out, like everybody just shows them love. And it's so weird. Like a lot of people just don't want to put their ego to the side.
You get one orange bar,
Well,
you post it, you get 50 likes.
That's a
Rafael's is liking it for sure.
so that's what I say.
If it is only orange bars, like
That's facts. But my thought process on that is like, one, you build a habit. Two, the big thing in my opinion is the people that are successful with this stuff, they own it. They wear it on their chest, right? And the people in your small town, even if you own it on your chest with them, it doesn't matter, right? But you have to, like, you decided to become a good Amazon seller and to make friends. You decided at some point to take it a little bit more seriously. And now you guys, I thought you guys lived together. You guys hanging out. You guys about the time. I always see it on IG, right? Exactly. Like,
very soon.
I decided to listen to Gary Vee and post a bunch of stuff. Like these are decisions you can make, right? That if you listen to like any Buy Box Bandits episode or any like the interviews we've done or we've done YouTube videos too, like any like videos like any successful Amazon sellers would do, they all say the same thing. You buy profitable stuff and you find a couple people to do it with. Period. That's the only thing that works. There's a lot of intricacies that go into that, but that's the only common trait between people who are successful with it. Yeah, pretty much, right? Some people do it on their own, but when you do it on your own, it's significantly harder. And this translates to any industry, right? With the TikTok shop affiliate stuff you guys are doing, the best TikTok shop affiliates I know, they have people they're masterminding with daily. And the beautiful thing is it's very rarely people they've paid or people they're actively paying.
Yeah.
It's typically a very organic thing. And the reason why that's so easy to achieve is because so few people give themselves a chance to get it.
Now, how do you have that type of mindset is more of my question, just because we talked to Kate Peterson and he was like heavy on the mindset, which I love, just because I feel like we're pretty heavy on it too, just because the space that we're in, it's all about mindset for the most part, right? Compared to Amazon, I'd say like it's more factual, it's more just data. Compared to like posting content, you know, you just have to keep fucking going because you know it's gonna pay you dividends no matter what, whether it's not paying you this week, next week. So like, how do you have that mindset of just, dude, I'm just putting myself out there. I'm gonna just keep fucking going. It doesn't matter. And like enjoying it too, because I feel like a lot of people just don't enjoy the content.
Yeah. So I think the only thing human beings enjoy doing for the most part is activities they do with people they like. Right. So that's for the most part.
That's right. We've been doing the pods. It's very easy.
Yeah. Right. Dude, and anything's easy with your boys. Yeah. And anything's fun with your boys for the most part. Yeah. Right. You know, for the most part. Right. But on the motivational side of things, so there's, in my opinion, there's like two sides of it. There's the stuff you're running from, which is for us, most likely having a job you don't like, not having freedom, not having disposable income. And there's the stuff you're running towards, which could be, you know, something like being a young multimillionaire or whatever. Right. So I personally, like, you use what you got for the day. So sometimes it's, fuck, I can't imagine doing the stuff that I don't want to do. And sometimes it's, I can't wait till I get what I know I want to get. But you got to prove to yourself that you're capable of both getting away and taking the first steps and the other steps of getting away from what you don't want to do. And you got to prove to yourself that you're capable of making the progress towards getting what you want to get. And in my opinion, you got to like get crystal clear about what you're looking for and what you don't want. And then you use what you got on that current day. Like, for example, I was up to like 12:30 last night, like rapidly sending messages and leads and everything, and like getting stuff done because I was like, I just feel so bad and so aggravated that I don't have what I want to have yet, right? And everything. But then, you know, sometimes it's aggravation, or not necessarily aggravation, but motivation around not wanting the situation that I don't want to have as well, right? So you use what you got for that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was this quote I read. It was like using momentum when you have it, or like using motivation when you have it. So like if you feel motivated, like go all out because it's gonna leave eventually, right? Yeah. So you're gonna slow down a little bit, but when you have it, just go full fucking force. I feel like a lot of people are just comfortable with the comfortable pretty much. Like a lot of people don't want to feel uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable posting the first video. It's uncomfortable posting like some low orange bars just because you're just starting. But then again, like you're comparing your day one to someone's like day 1,000.
Bro, college is 4 years for a reason. College is 4 years for a reason, you know?
That's fair. That's true.
Yeah, well, but you guys get it. I get it. But, you know, on day one, it's like, crap, you want me to work on this for 6 months without seeing any material results? Like, yes, you went to grad school. You actively made the choice to do more school for more money. Like, you can work on something for 6 months, you know?
It's more about just perspective. I feel like a lot of people have a different perspective, obviously, on college. So like, even just side hustles. And obviously the same thing with the info space. Like every info, pretty much 99% of info offers are amazing, you know? And like, there's probably like 1% that are probably not doing the best, but all of them are great. it's just more about you applying that information, you know, and just the mindset that you have on it, because everybody's just looking for like a quick shortcut. Like we've spoken about it recently. Like everybody thinks like there's a hidden magic trick for TikTok Shop or hidden magic trick for even Amazon FBA. Like people still believe that. You know, like where like with Amazon, there's been years of data of like, dude, it's just doing the same shit every single fucking day. Same doing content. Like, dude, like that's why I give credit to Gary. Like he's always so fucking. I didn't even know he had a book about content. So that's pretty fucking crazy.
It's on 2009 too, which is insane. You gotta read it. It's over there, but it's like you can read. I'll read it like every 6 months.
Really?
It's like 110 pages. You can read it in one night. Yeah. It's
Holy shit.
called Crush It. Yeah.
He's just so early on like everything. You just gotta give him props because 2009, who was posting content? You know, like
I'm not in my library, Gary Vee.
Oh,
Part of fourth man.
yeah. Well, I think I was in like 2004 or something. I would say it was whenever YouTube came out. So yeah, like 2006. Yeah.
now, what do you think is more of a better ROI for someone that doesn't have so much time versus like long form versus short form? Like what's a better conversion for obviously like improving their like network? Because like that's pretty much the biggest ROI in my opinion.
I completely agree, right? And don't worry about making YouTube videos at all. Don't worry about creating content. Whatever platform you hang out on, which would be social like TikTok, Twitter, IG, So get the ball rolling there, and algorithms are good, and you have to understand there will never be a tangible ROI from this, but you're listening to 3 people that met on Instagram, right? And this significant, like, dude, pretty much everything like outside of my family came from random people, and that's good, came from random people on the internet. That's the world we live in. You're not geographically limited like your parents were, like your grandparents were, to the luck of who happens to live around you. Now we have the opportunity to go find people with niche interests and niche communities. And it's actually absurdly easy to go find them and go interact with them because they're starving for people like you too.
Yeah.
They also feel lonely, right? They also feel lonely and everything. So you really just make that decision to start existing, honestly. And then you slowly start to see some feedback. You integrate it more and more. You engage more and more. You start getting some DMs and everything. And where people go wrong with this is they don't do it for a while and they expect there to be a tangible result with it, which there never will be, right? For that matter, right? But it's an important thing that's been incredibly beneficial. Like all the guys you guys have on here, pretty much none of them you met in real life, you know?
Yeah, no.
Like there's 0 Buy Box Bandits people we've ever had on. Did I have a prior relationship to prior to Amazon? Actually one, and it was a guy from my college that I didn't know I know who he was, but he started doing Amazon, actually became like a beast, basically. But our substantial relationship came from him finding me on Twitter talking about Amazon, basically too. But yeah, like it's just the way the world works, and you have a choice. You know, like we all make fun of like our parents and grandparents for choosing to not adopt new ways of life as the world changes. And you got to make sure that you don't become that around, like, especially like AI and shit. You see a lot of people with like AI and everything, like choosing not to use it. Like that shit is so helpful, you know?
Like sometimes we forget like the opportunity we have just with social media. Like it's fucking insane. Like you meet someone from a place you've never even been to. Someone that doesn't even speak your language, being realistic, and you're just on every single fucking platform and you guys just could interact. And
that didn't exist for like 15
dude,
years.
Sometimes I think about it like shit, it really blows my mind
too. That's the crazy thing, bro, that it's free as well, you know? And it's also free to post shit.
Yeah.
You know? So it's crazy.
Like post shit, long form, just like, dude, why should I be talking to someone from like the Philippines right now? Like it's insane. You get me like how far are we? Sometimes it just blows my mind the opportunity that we have right now. Like a lot of people don't think about it just because they don't capitalize on the opportunities they have. You know, like with Amazon, someone could be doing great, but if they're not posting content, like you said, they're just handicapping themselves. But a lot of people are just like, they just want to be behind the screen, you know?
Which is fine. You just have to understand that you're making a choice to make things more difficult for yourself. Because we can all agree that you're the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So how would you expect, or you talk to the most or whatever, influenced by the most, whatever. So how would you expect to be a successful just online business person with no one that does online business in your life? What do you think about it?
I think once people realize that, they'll make the natural decision of either accepting that, or most people will start posting because they're realizing.
Well, a lot of people won't though, because then it comes down to you're nervous about what your friends think if they see your Amazon account. It's so
FBA page.
I completely agree. I'm radical. I say you delete the social media in the first place, the first like ads. I have radical views on that, right? Like my first 10K month was the day the month I had no personal Instagram.
Really? You deleted it?
Yep. Cold turkey gone. Right. I logged in one more time on my college graduation day to see the homies graduate. It was 4 years ago this month, and I've let it go. Bro, dude, it just doesn't give you anything. Like, it doesn't give you anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's like you're using it for the wrong reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on your goals, obviously. Just
Looking, you know. I don't need to be. I don't need to be seeing what people from my college are doing. You know.
You don't scroll on TikTok? They're branding it.
But we have marketing minds. You know what I mean? So we're, you know what I mean? Like, not often. No. Well, that is a good excuse, but not often. But like, like we're people that we're blessed from a financial perspective. When you go to a restaurant, you're like, all right, how many people can they sit? How much money do these people making? Shit like that, right? Okay, this dish is really cheap. The fried chicken is $8. Why is it $8? It's just because I'm talking about it on the podcast right now that the Joe's Stone Crab fried chicken is $8. I brought up the date. That was free traffic for them, right? It's $8 to get people in the door, right? Stuff like that. Like, we're blessed, and a lot of people have those tendencies and everything. They just don't have anyone to interact with around this stuff. They actually do. They just haven't yet decided to join the free online communities that'll give them a chance to get that.
Yeah. And the reason that you even, like, backtrack a little bit, the reason why you even went to Miami Sellers Conference, the first one, was because of you posting content, right?
Oh, he's with the homies. It was free because of that. Yeah.
Like, and you said that like the week after you did like 100K rev or 2 weeks.
Then 2 weeks after, which was double my previous month.
Yeah.
So like July of 2021 was like 55K, 60K, right? I think it was 60. And then August was about 100, but I only sold for 2 weeks in August total. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, just to touch on a little bit about Miami Sellers Conference, a lot of people look at it and be like, okay, just a bunch of grifters and stuff like that. Like, people are doing decent numbers, they just say 100, 200, 300 a month.
Like, people get mad about everything.
There's people get. There's always gonna be someone mad about anything,
and that's okay. So you might as well
get Billy West. You go help homeless people, whatever it is.
Might as well, you might as well get to it.
Yeah, I just want to speak on it a little bit, just because it's my first time coming to the Miami Sellers Conference the past couple of years, and I fucking loved it. Had a great conversation. I met Trevin from it, pretty much met Cade, and met a bunch of great people. They just, at any level, I think it's just beneficial. It doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
I'm not even in the space. I'm not in the space.
It's very adjacent. Yeah, very, very adjacent. And then, ideally private labels on Amazon down the line, you know what I mean? So it's very adjacent, but it was also a good stepping stone, right? And a big issue a lot of people run into is they'll start doing retail arbitrage, and the people in their life that aren't familiar with the space and everything, they'll be like, all right, so you're going to do that for 20 years. You're going to go out and scan the books. You're going to go out and dig through the clearance aisle for 20 years. And it's like, no, Susie, who's worked there for 40 years, right? Yeah, who's had the same job for 40 years. There's nothing wrong with that life, but that's not what I'm looking for. And that's okay too, right? This is a stepping stone. I see arbitrage as a way to buy your freedom, right? You guys have expanded onto different things. I've expanded to kind of like adjacent things within the same vertical, right? And, you move up into different opportunities over different times. I went from, selling shoes on StockX and GOAT to selling books on Amazon to doing online arbitrage on Amazon. And now got some other things associated with that too, like our software products and everything that were all built off of essentially like the same ecosystem, pretty much,
Do you think you could have launched like Bloxum and like the other softwares without a personal brand?
100%, which would have been significantly harder.
Yeah. It's insane to think about just the personal brand side of things, to be honest. Because
and personal brand sounds way too fancy too. Like, everyone technically has a personal brand, right? Like, your OG IG page was a personal brand. So was mine. Yeah. Right. You probably had one too at some point, right? That is your personal brand. It's just how you use it and whether it's like, working for you or working against you as a tool, basically.
What do you think is the best way, the most beneficial way to use it in 2025 for a beginner Amazon seller? Right?
Yeah. So beginner Amazon seller, I get started from day one and I document the entire process. I talk about what I'm doing, post pictures of shipments, wins, mistakes, daily updates, whatever. And just count on that this takes me 4 minutes a day, that no one cares about what I'm doing from my personal life. And if they do, they weren't going to help you get your goals anyway, right? And that this is my chance to find the people that think like me, that want what I want, that's in some cases have what I want, that I'm unfortunately not going to be able to find locally, that I have 100% certainty are on Instagram or are on Twitter or on wherever, right? And it's my chance to go introduce myself to that community and start to, build a little bit of a name for myself. I do not create content. I strictly document. I talk about what I'm doing. That takes way less time, right? And over time, I start to get feedback. people are liking, people are engaging. I'm doing the same thing to other people's posts, start to get some conversation started around this stuff. And no one ever made less money being around more people that have what they want and want what they want. It's a fact. Like it is absurdly difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to do.
I feel like a lot of people try to even hack I guess not personal brand, just hack the networking side of things. Of like just joining like every single group and stuff like that. But even when they join, some people don't even talk. You know, like as we know, like we're in groups and stuff like that. Probably a few active people in there a week, a day, and it's crazy because you got in there with the purpose, but you're not even doing that purpose, which is kind of insane to me when I think about it sometimes. Because some people are just scared, like they're not comfortable with uncomfortable. You know, like,
and that's their choice as a human being. But these are also choices, and they need to understand that 80 years ago, we would have been in a trench together in World War II. And that you can't, Instagram's not scary, right? Or go talk about Amazon to your buddies from college.
yeah,
See what happens. See what happens. They're going to be telling you to be quiet and go watch the football game, and go drink up,
At this point, are you uncomfortable with anything you do? Like, I guess just day to day or just content wise too, I guess?
I mean, definitely. Like the thought of putting more effort into a YouTube video or how we're going to get this feature to work in software or anything like that, like all the time you think to yourself, like, what if this doesn't work? And you just power through and understand that everyone who has what you want went through harder things or went through hard things, period. And that the further you keep going, the less competition you have.
Yes. One day we talked with Cade saying that, like, because he's all about mindset, like doing the things that you're uncomfortable about, like with, like just keep pushing forward. But like he still has that voice too, saying like, yo, like if you want to wake up early, when he wakes up, it's like sleep in a little bit. Like everybody has that voice, no matter what.
You get better and better at overpowering it.
Exactly, and that's like the hardest thing. I feel like people think, let's just say like you or a Cade don't have that voice. You guys are just machines. It's just
everyone does. Everyone does. Period. You just get better and better at giving yourself evidence that you're capable of things.
Yeah. Now, what do you think is the biggest, I want to say hack.
Doing it for a while, whatever it is.
Continuously doing something solved.
Yeah.
I guess that's the hardest thing because then like you have to eventually start liking it, right? Because for someone to keep doing something, they have to like it, in my opinion. Or they have to like know
or like the result. Yeah.
Even like the result, I don't think is enough.
Well, do you go to the gym?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you enjoy going to the gym?
And that's also me. And
You think about the result when you're doing the hard thing.
Yeah, that's what
fair.
I do. Period.
Yeah, I think for most people at least.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I just feel like a lot of people don't like a lot of people go to the gym and they want results right then and there, right?
So, which same thing with started is. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's just overcoming that is the hardest thing. It's just all about mindset, especially with just posting content, right? A lot of people, like you mentioned, like are just don't want to be seen by other people, but like the reason you're posting is so you could be seen by other people, which doesn't make sense. Like, you can't pick and choose who sees you.
Exactly, and that's a choice you have to make, right? Like I was on a walk with a couple of my homies I'm hanging out this week that originally were students, similar to you guys, right? And we were talking about how like this one guy, I met him because he like would have hella good banter in our YouTube lives on an anonymous account. And then he joined like my coaching program and we were on the phone like to introduce him. I do that with everyone. And he was like telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm XYZ. And I was like, oh, you're him? And I was like, oh, this guy's easy. He's going to be great. And then I went in and that night, like I spent like extra time because I was just harassing him with leads like right away. And now we're like very, very good friends. Basically, it's awesome. He's a really, really good friend of mine. We talk almost every day about this stuff. And he was like, how do you see talent like that? And I was like, dude, like, it's just who's willing to post more than like 4 times online to even give me a chance to get to know you.
Yeah.
Which is not to come from like an ego perspective that you should want to give me a chance to get to know you, but it's more so that they gave anyone a chance to get to know them. And we happen to be a good fit, and now we're really good friends. We're doing business together and everything a couple years later. And like I initially was more bought in to him, and I think he was initially more bought into me because we got to know each other, and I knew him because he would talk about seed oils and stuff in the chat, and I was like, damn, like this guy's awesome, like he knows about this other world. And I'm thinking now, we've been able to do really good stuff together the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's sweet. We're pretty much like the top 1% of podcasts because we're like
How
10, that's 12 in.
Yeah, I think it's 12 is like the big.
Oh, fuck. You guys have been lying to me.
Like 8 or something. There's probably more podcasts now though too than there were when that started.
That's fair too.
Yeah.
It must feel great, right? Like helping so many people, I feel like.
I mean, like definitely, but there's like, it's nice though, because like if I do a good job making videos, people use our software products, and that's also good for me too. And that like, you know, there's ways to think about it, and that like there's, you know, significant investment in free content and everything. So yeah, definitely. You know, it's nice to set up where your incentives make sense. It's the same thing with like running a TikTok shop brand. From your guys' perspective, the creators do a good job. They get significant benefit.
Yeah.
You guys get awesome benefit too. That's like the types of games you want to set up in life, you know?
I think it's just like more, cause I'm pretty sure at this point, like, you have just completely random people you never even met. Maybe from like an Instagram account that has like one post saying like, hey, like I started because of your YouTube video, stuff the things I did.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
That must be fucking nuts. Yeah, that would get me pumped.
No,
I feel like,
cool.
Yeah, because obviously after a while, like it will get, like, I'm not gonna say it will get there. I'm bad with guarantees, but that, like if you keep posting content, some people will look at it and that'll hype them up in my head, you know? So just getting like those type of messages, we're talking about it with Kate, is just gets you fired up. Obviously, it's hard distinguishing the two of like letting the bad comments affect you, because then you gotta like.
Yeah, I kind of don't let either. Like, you know, like every now and again there'll be a bad comment that'll like, you know, deter me a little bit, but then you look at some of the good ones and everything. I just stay pretty neutral with it.
It's a pretty good mindset to have, I guess, from it. But I don't know, it'd be hard not to get fucking hyped, you know? Like someone, like Stefan, I would look at Stefan and be like, fuck, like, I gotta hype you the fuck up.
We were talking about like whether or not like getting connected to those highs kind of can lead you to like feeling bad about some of the bad comments, or even bad times in general, like when you're having great moments and bad moments and stuff like that. Kind of the connection between the two, where if you can disconnect yourself from the highs and the good comments and whatever it is, then you're more likely to be neutral.
I very much agree with that. Yeah, I very, very much agree with that.
A lot of people just don't feel like they're in control, and
you're in control.
Yeah, they don't feel like it's
not even like it's not.
Well, even if you're not, the thing that you're not isn't helpful.
Not at all, right? Like the didn't work for me always just means they haven't done it for 6 months. Every time. The no luck just means they didn't do it for 6 months. Like pretty much always, you know.
You have to do something for long enough where luck is not a factor.
Well, you give yourself a chance to get lucky too. Give yourself a chance to get some homies in the mix. Give yourself a chance to go from an Amazon perspective, right? Give yourself a chance to go through you know, like a Q4 back to school, or from like a TTS perspective, give yourself a chance to go through or get on a brand with like a crazy bonus month, whatever, you know, like the similar adjacent scenarios.
And 6 months like still so fucking short compared to anything like
right? College is 4. You went to like middle school, elementary school, high school was 12 years. You know, you gave yourself 12 years to get rich, you'd definitely be less poor. You know?
That's fair. It's just the type of mindset people have, like a different type of thinking of like school versus just side hustles. Everybody just wants quick results. And it's also, in my opinion, like some people in spaces just kind of saying, like, guaranteeing, I guess. Like,
people like to be told what to do. And that's kind of what their job is. Like, you show up every day, you know it's going to be a certain amount of time. You show up and someone's going to tell you what to do. And they're going to be mad at you if you don't do it. And like, you have all this social pressure to like get it done, versus you're sitting at your house, you're like, oh, I want to do this thing. You're like, oh, I don't really need to. You flip on the TV.
Yeah,
you know, it's
no guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can create the guarantee for yourself almost by doing...
Over the long term. Yeah, over the long term for sure.
You guarantee you don't make it if you don't try, I guess, right?
Oh, fat ass be a 4. It's so 100% there. Yeah.
You're trying not for not a long period of time, more the thought process. I want to touch on a little bit more about like the personal brand side of things, or just like the branding and posting and stuff like that. What time do you know that, okay, like this is going to be great for me long term no matter what? Maybe like you mentioned, you're not going to get a direct return from it, but you know it's going to improve the quality of your life. Did you know it from the jump? Did you know it from like after a couple posts? Did you know?
Probably when Avery let me hang out with him in Philadelphia, which was like 9 months in. Basically, honestly, yeah, like which literally was like I was a random ass person. Yeah, well, like he knew, he could see. It's like, okay, you go to my page, like, okay, this dude's clearly working on Amazon. He's posting it every day. There's clearly something here. So we hung out, and he was like putting me on a lot of game. That, and then definitely during COVID, I started to get like Discord moderator rules, which was awesome. Talking about credit cards, actually, not even talking about like Amazon or shoes or anything.
Yeah.
And then really once the online arbitrage started to print, that was like a major thing too. But like it was also something I never really considered not doing because it just becomes an ingrained part of what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're in Miami, you're gonna post who's in Miami, or you're gonna post a little story, and people are gonna swipe up. Or what? Like it just becomes ingrained. And it's not like a strain or something, you know. And we're lucky because we're young. Grew up with the internet and everything. But
Yeah.
you deal with what you got. If you're an older person, you have the great opportunity of having less competition for the airspace because there's less older people that do it. You know.
I was thinking like, obviously in the early Amazon days, everybody was gatekeeping like the ungates, like we mentioned.
Just
you know,
don't
like,
know if it was a thing, but we'll literally never be.
yeah, probably, exactly. It probably would have worked there.
Keep the lab days on.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
At least I would like to think that like there were a few people that didn't know how to ungate. Obviously, they were gatekeeping it, whether it was like behind a paywall and stuff like that. And the way I look at it now is like there's things like that now. Obviously, maybe not with Amazon, but just overall in like the business space and the e-com space, like there's gatekeeping like that, and you have to be in certain circles to know to be early into things, right? Because being early into the ungating must have been insane. Like
TTS, anything.
yeah, like, just being early in every single like obviously also knowing like don't get shiny object syndrome. That's why I tell everybody now, especially because like we're in a pretty early space now, and I tell people like do it or not. I mean, obviously like do what you think is best. I'm not telling you to do this, like quit everything, but it's hard not to get shiny object syndrome. Like what's your thoughts on that? 'Cause I feel like you've seen some pretty good opportunities come by.
Yeah, well, I've had it majorly, but it was blaringly obvious when it was time to focus on online arbitrage, both from like a life perspective. Like I had been messing around with all these other things for a couple of years, and it's like, all right, second month of doing online arbitrage, make like $6K, which was more than I had made from any of the other things in 1 month. And it was also just like a hell of a lot of fun because I was doing it with Danny, who I knew from high school, and then Jake and Garrett's brother Dylan. And it was just a blast, man, working with those guys. Still is to this day. And so it was like really obvious of like kind of the combination of like good time during COVID. And then, so good time during COVID, good opportunity. I like these guys I'm working with, and it's making money. But that was the convergence of a lot of experimenting.
It's like a lot of people see certain like groups in the Amazon space, not just like info groups, like it's just legit groups, like 3, 4, 5 people are just friends.
Like you guys, like I know that from IG is like you guys and Edgar.
Yeah.
I believe it came in. Yeah. Him.
Yeah, no, it's just like a lot of people.
The dude who looks like Levi and then actually Levi.
The dude who looks like Nemo.
Yeah, there's the. Oh, Levy, yeah. If there's Julian's little brother, looks like your dad would be like Levy. Everybody, they totally do, man. They totally
Can't see this.
Yeah, they totally do. But every time I say, "Are you Julian's brother?" and he goes, "No," but it's the other guy. Julian's brother has the tat. Yeah, so now I got.
That's how that ties.
Now I'll up to what's his name? I can't remember.
I'm drawing a blank. Taller brother.
I find him on I. Yeah, regardless of enjoy regardless stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but exactly like stuff like that. You know,
It's like putting faces on to people is like the best thing. You know, like you mentioned, we know each other for a little while. Same thing. I mean, you met Carter before, but like we've never met. This is the first time we meet, and you guys have already never paid each other and everything either.
well,
A little bit.
that's the starting the relationship. Yeah, they started the relationship. It wasn't a result of that. Right?
I charged him a little,
Yeah.
He bought my.
I'm on his payroll, so
Oh God. Okay. Shit, like it's way different than transactional type of relation. Now, some relationships might start transactional, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah, and that's okay. You know.
I've paid too much for things.
Same.
On that, I'm gonna Chris.
Yeah, but like the blended ROI on paying for information and education has probably been insane. Same.
Yeah.
Insane for me. But it's blended it, and you gave yourself a couple years to see different things play out, different opportunities play out.
yeah.
To think of almost getting close to like a college degree type of cost, probably like a nice little community college.
Yeah, and no debt in the process, and you made a ton of money. You know.
But you have no degree, so it's not that
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's not gonna help the resume.
I'll mark it out here.
It's not gonna help the resume. It's not gonna help the resume.
Hey, Miami's always here for me.
What do you think about the Miami effect? You know, a lot of people call it quote unquote that. So,
Oh, incredibly true. Incredibly true, and also incredibly bad if you fall into the wrong things.
yeah.
I'm significantly more focused here. I eat better food here. I'm outside more. I'm sun maxing more. I'm avoiding seed oils more. right?
We got on the way too. We got on the way too.
Oh, good. Okay, good shit. All right. But yeah, naturally, true, man. Yeah, like you are the product of the people you hang out with. And Miami tends to have a type of more ambitious person than other places. So it makes a lot of sense.
It's fast paced.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, majorly. You can live so much life here in one day. Yeah, like it's like crazy. Yeah.
At what point would you think someone could move here? Like, let's just say they're doing Amazon, they're doing like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15,
20K month profit very consistently. Because it is, I want people to be building wealth, not just making money.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be able to save and reinvest heavily. I know people who live around here make a lot less than that, but I am a very naturally defensive, personal finance minded person and everything,
And it's also very different too, like what space you're in, right? Because in my opinion, with Amazon, a lot of people don't succeed just because they do make money. But let's just say you just started out and you made 2K your first month in profit. You don't have that 2K, right? You have to wait. Like
it's a very adult way of managing. You have to learn. But TTS, you're free cash.
Yeah, exactly, just free cash.
That's something we're gonna have to focus on a lot when it comes to like educating, because it's like literally kids making tens of thousands a month. It's like, how do you like preserve that wealth, not just make it? Exactly. It's literally just a check to the bank account. You don't have credit card, right? Inventory.
Oh my God.
There's none of this stuff. It's like, there's going to be a lot of like mindset stuff that we're going to have to speak about and kind of just help people kind of manage that early cash flow. Cause like, think about it, like if they blow that money and then they have to try to remake it back, and I'm sure they will, but if they're able to like invest that or like save it or whatever it is and like gain freedom from their lives in general.
Yeah. Keep skill stacking, keep moving up and up. Geez, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like with Amazon's for sure hard. Like I spoke about it. I forgot who I was speaking with, but a lot of people don't want to put their ego to the side and just work for like a year while you're also doing Amazon, just because you can't pull money out from Amazon, in my opinion. You want real growth.
Very tough, man. Yeah, but
growth,
and that's the price you pay for not showing your face. As fair, and that's okay. And I'm like, that's worth it for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Or being it being a significantly more like data and analytical way of making money rather than like marketing, shots on goal, creativity way of making money. There's nothing wrong with either.
I think there's just a lot of people that think they could do it without showing their face. So they're like, no, I knock you.
Yeah, tried it for a little.
Obviously, we've seen a perfect case study.
Yeah, it's tough, like with the slides and stuff. Yeah, very tough.
Yeah, like exactly what I was telling Carter. He's crushing the Amazon space, but like still, some people just don't even know who he is. I'm like, dude, like, how do you like? In my head, it's like he's done great at fucking numbers. Like you should kind of not like more of a. Not like an egotistical type of thing, but it's just like someone like who are crushing in the Amazon space, right? So it's just more of like you just don't. I don't know. I just try to tell them just because to get him pushing on content nowadays.
Yeah.
Somebody has to know.
Now it's all TikTok.
Yeah.
Gotta restart it pretty much from zero.
Yeah.
That happens.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of people think they know the hack because I see it still now. Even like with Miami Sellers Conference, there was some people that didn't post no content. And they're like, I could just tell, like, they think they could do the networking without the content, which is impossible.
It's very tough. Yeah, like you do a lot of good work in Discord too and everything. But I will naturally always recommend to people the path of least resistance, most fun, most profitable, least mistakes. And that's finding your team to do it with. And you don't got to pay them any money, but you got to find them. And the problem is they also are subconscious. They're also afraid to exist. So you have to take it as your own personal responsibility. I'm going to go hunt them down and I'm going to attract them to me.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about too, because I remember when I got your info offer, I think you recommended it too, like find 3, 4, 5 people and just network with them, just talk with them. Then we built up like a team of like 4 or 5. We made a Discord, like we talked for like 2 years straight, every single night. Every single night prep. Yeah, now everybody's doing really good, which is pretty fucking hype. But it's crazy to think about it, like from long-term scope.
That's the nucleuses that are built out of shit like that, makes the world go around.
Yeah. I'm just more of like, that would make me fucking hype. I think it goes max to hype.
I got to get you a little happy.
It's like, huh?
Those are the
The higher bar says nothing more fun than sitting on buying like Lubinitis with the homies, buying nothing. Yeah.
it was downhill from there.
We're trying to go back up. We're trying to go back. Fulfillment wise, Yeah, even prepping back then it was so fun.
Yeah, because you're working on something exciting. You see the path, you see the vision, you see what's coming for you.
What do you tell people when, like, everybody's excited when they first start Amazon? Then, they find some hurdles. You're like, okay, shit. Like, we see it all the time, in my opinion. We see, like, someone new start posting content, and they just completely stop. And, oh, shit, what happens to them? Well, like, what would you recommend them to keep going, right? Because there's always going to be hurdles. I feel like people see space and like, okay, if Miles did a mil this year, I could do a mil this year. I was like, but dude, you're comparing like day one, day 1,000
or whatever. Yeah. There's the what's your other option, which is 40 years of having a job, which is nothing wrong with that, but might not be what they're looking for, right? Or we're starting something again from scratch. Is everything perfect every single day at your job? No. Oh, of course it's not. Why would you expect this to be this way, right? Has anything ever worked out for you fast in your life? No. Why would you expect this to be this way? Has anyone that's ever gotten anything good in the world overcome obstacles? Yes. Okay, then why would you expect to succeed with no obstacle, right? Did you or did you not go to college for 4 years and grad school? Oh, you did. Great. You're on month 4. Imagine if you had to go get a sick job in month 4 of college when you haven't even completed one semester. That wouldn't be realistic. Why should this be realistic to see that quick that way? And all it comes down to is having the right perspective around things. I think those are good mindset frames that help with that.
How do you have this type of mindset?
You choose. You're an adult human being. You choose. And that you make the choice and you flood yourself with positive information relentlessly, 24/7.
Where are you like cultivating the things that you listen to and stuff like that?
And the people you talk to, the conversations you have, Yeah.
Were you always like this though? In my head, like,
No,
upbringing obviously matters a good amount. The way I look at it.
Yeah, true. I was very lucky with that. I mean, you grow over time. You know what I mean? And you get evidence to keep going, and you get people in your life encouraging you to keep going and everything. And just it's day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year.
A lot of people feel like they're a byproduct of their environment from like just their upbringing and stuff like that. And obviously it's easy to say you're not.
Yeah.
You can switch everything up, but it's hard to tell them that just because
it's hard to tell them that, but it's true regardless. That you can change and that you're powerful and
Yeah.
you're capable.
We were talking about it with Kay. Like, what angle do you come at it with, or is it different like per person? Just because at the end of the day, you could be straight up with someone like that, and like, it just so demoralizes them even more.
That's true. It's very case by case.
Yeah,
it's very case by case.
Yeah, because you've helped a ton of people, so I'm pretty sure you've seen it like a ton of times.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah,
the whole spectrum, definitely.
Because I feel like that's the hardest part we struggle with, to be honest. Because I'm very direct.
You learn over time. Yeah, but some people don't need very direct.
Yeah,
and it's not how you want to tell them. It's what they need to hear delivered the correct way for them.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I feel like a lot of people just want reassurance that they can't do it, right? Like they just say like, obviously,
so true to man, but you're screwed if you're thinking like that. That person, they've seen for reasons to fail. Yeah,
here's a good method for it.
Yeah,
so
like I have a lot of people that message me. It's like, hey, they just say, hey, I posted 10 videos. I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, okay, you're not.
Oh, then see, but for the right person, that's perfect. Then they start telling you why they can.
Yeah, like, yes, you're right. Exactly.
Right, but then that could completely shut someone else down. And you have to be sharp around that.
It could backfire on you, so obviously, bad word of mouth that wasn't needed, I guess.
There's gonna be a lot of Borrow haters.
A lot of people was like, Borrow said I couldn't make it, now I did this. I was like, I motivated you more than anything. What's been your biggest push with just posting content, and not even business side, just posting content, just finding it fulfillment from posting content?
Oh, I never even was after fulfillment, man. It's just what I do. Life is boring as hell without people on the mission, and I can't find them walking around Allentown, Pennsylvania. Therefore, I have to find them online. Luckily, they exist online. Yeah, luckily, finding them online is free. Luckily, it's really easy because no one else will do it. That's just how it's always been. If I had to talk to my friends in middle school about Legos, I would have gotten laughed out of the room. But my friends online who were talking about Legos loved it. They could talk about it 24/7. So could I. The same thing with shoes with us back in the day, Basically just that, honestly.
Just when you obviously have interacted with a lot of people, I'm curious, like what things you notice, like when you see someone, you just know that they're gonna succeed.
Oh, it's all energy, enthusiasm, mindset around this stuff. It's all that, only that. Yeah. Willingness to cooperate and collaborate is a major component of that. That's having the right mindset, and then not expecting it to work tomorrow, but taking relentless action as if it would work tomorrow if I did take relentless action.
Did you see it in the card?
Oh, of course. And you too. Easy. No. Stop. No. It's not. I like easily.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
We're so disconnected from like the general population that I feel like it's a hard time for me to even like. Obviously, like you're much more.
Well, but
if I
saying,
people are,
but saying it's hard makes it hard. You can choose for it to be easy, and then it will get easier because that empowers you.
fair enough.
Yeah.
You need to connect more with some beginners.
You know what? But if that's a component of your mission, then yes, you need it. You know.
How have you? Because right now, at least for me, whenever I speak about the things we're doing, I speak like everybody knows the basics.
Ooh, you gotta get that's a major problem I had too. You learn to disqualify objections naturally by speaking. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if I'm talking about undating, I always include that getting denied is normal. Yeah, like the shit like that.
Yeah.
And you get better in that over time. Just reverse engineering the way that would deliver your ideal outcome that the person wants as easy and as quick as possible.
It's pretty hard, like in the split second. But
All right, look at what the best people in a niche are doing, you know? Yeah, that's pretty obvious, you know? There's a lot to study with that, or any niche you're doing, you know?
Practice.
Also that, yeah.
yeah, just putting the reps in is the best thing. But yeah, that's like one main thing I've always had problems with. And also like when they ask the question, it's just like more annoying than anything because like it's a really basic question. I don't know if you accept it.
Well, but you're choosing as an adult male to let that be annoying, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's that. Whereas there, like it is not annoying by itself. You are choosing to let it be annoying. You do not have to let it be annoying. That is your personal choice that you have the capabilities to do. And that serves you very well to adopt that mindset.
Subconsciously, yes.
Yeah.
I'm choosing it to annoy me.
Well,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah. Which I can get hit with as many undate question bullets as I need to get hit.
And you're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, it's something like if it's someone who paid me, they deserve a good answer with this. You know.
Yeah. It's more about just having that type of mindset is like the hardest thing in my opinion.
Well, it doesn't have to be hard. But yeah, I know. Obviously. Yeah, obviously.
Like for everybody to have it, because obviously if everybody had to be a net just for the world, you know, net positive, right? It's like everybody would be doing way better because everything's in your control. That's why I tell everybody, you know, even if something's really not in your control, I still tell people. I try not to tell them that because once you tell them that, they put power into things like that they can't control. So they're like, okay, I failed because of that.
Yeah, that sucks.
So like, either not mentioning like true outside sources, or just telling like, yo, you're in control of everything. It doesn't fucking matter, you know?
Very true. That's what's up.
That's the main thing I try to tell people, especially like the space that we're in, just because the space that we're in is just more about the real mindset you have. Like, hey, I guess same thing with even the Amazon space. Like, could you do this for like a year? Can you do this for 2 years? Like, how long could you do this for? How bad do you want it more than anything?
It's very hard to iterate and like get in like and elevate within the spaces when you're not connecting with other people. But you're out, you're just doing RA every day, whatever. You're not connecting with anyone. It's taking all of your time. Then you don't have anyone that's telling you about OA, wholesale, like all the different kind of methods, and also just connecting with other people can even save you time with RA or whatever it is.
Major. Yeah.
Is it in Union? So okay, cool. Oh, you're on the West Coast time still. I was just he's like I
don't try to mess with my clock. Hey, that makes sense. I try to see it around the same time every single day, no matter where I'm at.
Right, cool, we got time.
Cool. What was I gonna say? I lost it. Brain farting right now.
I'm curious around your thoughts of like, obviously you focus a lot more on the YouTube and the lives right now.
Yeah.
And obviously you started with, you know, doing shorts and everything, a lot of Twitter. I don't know if you're still posting on there or not.
Definitely so. Oh, yeah, not as much though.
Obviously you kind of honed your focus to something, I assume that was working, right? So
like, the quality of impression is so much longer. YouTube's the only like the main logical choice for attention. Like
I don't think I asked you, but I think we were talking about it. Like, what do you think one view on, say 1,000 views on YouTube is equal to like how many views on like, say like a reel or something like that?
100K?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I'm thinking of how I would quantify it. Like, I would be hype if I got 200,000 on a reel, right? And I would be hype if in the first day I got 3,000 on a YouTube platform. So right about that.
Yeah.
I'm hype if I got 2K first 24 hours, but that'll happen. Yeah. So probably Probably
A certain amount of health.
150. Yeah, you just get started. Exactly.
You mean to?
Well, the podcast's different because people want to watch it longer too, as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think people forget on like how many people are, like 100, 200, 300 people. You know?
Yeah. So you would go to a room and speak to them in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
been speaking like you did.
Yeah, I don't have to speak like me.
Get all dairy and fast.
Yeah, people forget. That's why I try to tell everybody, especially with the personal brand type of thing, like, or just posting content. Like, yo, you only they're like, yo, I only got 300 views right now. Like, it sucks. I'm like, dude, 300 people is a fucking shit ton of people. Like,
Nice.
people forget about that. Brain farting way too fucking much right now.
That's what we call her. But
All right, thank you so much, Miles, for joining us. It's always love.
As a person? Oh yeah.
Glad we finally met in person. We'll be back in Miami. Maybe we'll be here soon. We gotta get to that 15 mark. But where can people follow you?
Yep. Flips4Miles on all platforms. Seller Amp for Amazon Product Research. Foxum for Amazon Analytics and Listing. And these guys are awesome, and you guys are awesome. And thanks everyone for listening.
All right, appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.